Hey folks, good morning. It's about 8:30, 9-ish on Saturday, and we moved in last weekend, and we are still moving in. So part of that is getting organized, and we have a lot to do. So one of the things I'm going to do today is build some shelves along the sides of the garage so that we can start getting things off the floor. And I've got a buddy here, Beckett, who's going to help me. He's got all his tools ready. So we're just going to make a video of me putting together the shelves, and we'll post it, and anybody can ask questions or whatever. All right, see you. So as I was putting together the video for me putting up shelves, I realized that the part where I thought I recorded video to kind of just show you how I put everything together ended up just being a single picture. So that's why I'm sort of dressed a little bit different than the previous videos. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to show you up close how I constructed everything, how I cut everything, what the supports look like. And then also talk to you about kind of why I like this method of shelving versus other methods. So let me show you what I've done, and then I can kind of talk to you about my particular choices. So you'll see, basically it's just a 2x4 against the wall, of course screwed into studs, and then off of that are 21-inch 2x4s, and then on the outside is another stud. And then what I use for bracing is I like this diagonal approach for two reasons. The 45 just is a very natural support. So what I end up doing is I get I get the backboard 2x on, the cross bracing, and then the front 2x on, and then I take a longer 2x4 and put it up against usually the end of one of these, and I kind of draw. I make sure it's at a 45, and then I kind of draw a line on the 2x4 and make a template for how I want all the other supports to look. And as you'll see, it's not just a 45 at the top. There's a cutoff on the top, and the reason I do that is because it just adds one extra element of support. It's not a ton, but it's a little bit. And then obviously I screw this part of the support into a stud. There's really not much else to it. You can see the other part just screws straight into the edge of the wall. And really not a lot of support is needed for these. I don't plan to put a ton of weight. And if I do end up putting a little bit more weight, then I'll add some more support. Okay, so kind of the next piece I wanted to touch on was, why I like this sort of support or these sorts of shelves more than the others. I'm not a big fan of the shelving that has the support that hangs from the ceiling. And the reason for that is when I'm trying to get things on and off the shelves, and they're heavy and they're cumbersome, and I'm 12, 14 feet up in the air, I don't want to have to deal with working around bracing. It makes it very easy for me to get things on and off these types of shelves versus the ones hanging. The second piece of that is I don't like the hanging ones from the ceiling because I don't like to put extra weight on the joists of the ceiling. In most homes, generally, especially a garage, unless you build the ceiling of the garage specific to be able to handle additional weight, most contractors just build it to basically only be able to support the load of the roof material and potentially snow loads. So you generally, unless you specifically ask for that extra support, you're putting way too much weight on the ceiling. Now, our particular ceiling in our garage was built to be able to withstand the extra loads, but I still don't like to put that load on there for many reasons. But still, having to deal with working around the support structures hanging from the ceiling is enough for me to not want to do it. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If there's any comments or questions, or how'd you do this, how'd you do that, I'm happy to help answer. This is intended just to really kind of show you how I like to do things. I'm not necessarily an expert. I'm not necessarily doing it the best or the absolute right way. It's just the way I do it, the way I like to do it. And I'm happy to support any questions or comments. So, see you later.